Sure, that's not good. All right, so back at it. Student rep report. No student rep today. Board of Selectmen approved minutes of 12/5/2022. Mr. Marcy.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of December 5th, 2022 as written.
Second.
Discussion, is that executive minutes too, or?
No, just regular.
Regular minutes.
Yeah, the executive weren't in.
Yeah, no.
All right, so it's not the,
No.
excluding the executive, okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. All right, appointments and resignations. Accept resignation of Joy Hosford, Public Information Coordinator in Cable Access Office.
Mr. Chairman, it's a very timely item because as we need to educate, as you mentioned, and inform the public. We regretfully accepted the resignation of Joy Hosford, and
Should we do that first?
and
And then
we'll be looking to
So moved.
appoint someone.
Second.
discussion?
I'd like to thank Joy for coming back, for a little bit. She had always paid attention to what was happening in Dudley, so thanks for her help the last several months.
Thank you. All right, and the discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. And now the next item, appoint Deb LaPlaca, Public Information Coordinator, Cable Access Office, with term to expire June 30th, 2023. Mr. Marcy.
Mr. Chairman, I would definitely like to appoint Deb LaPlaca as our new Public Information Coordinator with the Cable Access Office with the term to expire June 30th, 2023. Second.
Discussion?
Discussion, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to add that, I was just talking to Deb about this. Debbie brings she lives in Dudley. She has her finger on the pulse of everything that's going on, and I think just her knowledge of how information can be disseminated from her long career, as a reporter and journalist, I think is going to help us be able to get our messages out and communicate with people more effectively. So Debbie, I'm real glad you're here.
All right, a motion, a second, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thanks, Debbie.
Let's see, old business. Highway Superintendent, update on Brandon Road, Mill Race Bridge. And then you might as well do your department after that. Jeff?
So we have an RFP out for the for the demolition of the bridge. There's a pre-bid meeting on the 19th that we'll have with the prospective contractors, and then a bid opening following on the 14th of January. So that's pretty much where we stand right now. Hopefully we get some desirable bids. There's been a lot of interest, and I think I know Michelle's had a bunch of calls, so that's a good thing that there's, in my opinion, it should be a competitive type field. So that's about it.
Good. Want to do your department while you're
Sure. Yeah, as I'm sure everybody knows, we had a first real snowfall last night, or yesterday afternoon and into the night. So we ended up getting a little more snow than we planned on. We did have salt spreaders out yesterday afternoon. Ended up having to do a scrape of the roads and retreating the roads, but we're prepared for the winter, and we'll be continuing as time goes on, and that's pretty much all I have for a report today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
George?
Nothing too much. There's been some commotion on Schofield Ave. We've got truckloads of pipe being delivered for the project coming up in spring. It's going to be storing it across from our station down number 3. And we had the actual PFAS vessel come in too on the flatbed, which takes up almost the whole road. And we tried to weasel that into Station 6's lots, and we finally got it in there after an hour. They're going to put that in place for the new treatment center. And then eventually they'll drag the other one from the other site and put that in there, incorporate that at sometime springtime or summertime. So things are moving.
Thanks, George.
Lieutenant Collins?
Oh, I'm stepping in for Chief Weiner for tonight. Just a couple things. Last Friday, we had Alice training in Town Hall. It's basically training to show proactive strategies to critical incidents, mainly geared towards active shooting. Sergeant Poplowski, Officer Remlard, and Officer Megas conducted the training with all the Town Hall employees. On Saturday, we had the Santa tour along with the fire department. I think it was a good success. A lot of kids were out there, big smiles on them. And also we conducted the Guns to Gardens program, where it's sponsored by UMass Memorial. Anybody who wants to turn in any unwanted firearm gets a gift card. I believe we had about 5 or 6 firearms brought in. And also toy drive, we're still doing a toy drive. This year we got a lot of response, people looking in need for toys. So if anybody out there wants to donate any new unwrapped toys, drop them off in the lobby. Thank you.
Box looks full down there, so
Yeah.
let's keep it going, right?
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you. Dean?
So I have a couple of things. I'm happy to report that we received a grant from DFS in the amount of $13,207 for a new combi tool. It's a spreader cutter. It's replacing a tool that was acquired in 1989, so it's replacing a tool that's 34 years old. We just received that grant last Thursday. It was competitive. There were some towns that were denied, so we were happy that we were one of the towns that received it. So as soon as I get the signed contract back from DFS, we'll be purchasing that tool. Also, I had a meeting with Mace this morning. They're going to be starting, not necessarily the demolition, but they're going to start separating the building, like picking things out of the building separately and making separate piles, because all the material has to go to different approved landfills because of the hazmat aspect of it. They'll have 4-point monitoring up there, air quality testing, all those things will be going on. They have an LSP, DEP's there, NEDT's there. We're also going to have a detail there every day until they're done, and Mace is paying for that, so you don't have to worry about that. So if people see a lot of heavy equipment going through West Dudley, it's probably going to Mace.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's all I got.
Thanks, Dean.
Thank you. Treasure collector?
Good evening. Have a whole bunch of things. We'll try to truncate it. Water bills due last Thursday. We're going to have real estate bills printed some point this week. Hopefully we'll get them to everybody on Christmas Eve, because, you know, the Grinch is alive and well in Dudley. Thought I'd at least get one joke on that. Few things have come in. Worcester Regional's assessment will be mid-January. Again, we expect that to be a hearty 12-14% increase. Again, we're still paying off some of the early retirement. Also, we have our OPEB valuation, our GASB. I think it's up to 73 and 75. Also, Worcester Regional did their valuations for a few items. And again, one of the things that Matt had pointed out, we put $10,000 towards OPEB. There was a request for a suggestion as to what goes in. You get an actuarial valuation where the required annual contribution, several $100,000. So know that $50,000 is a very modest placeholder. Two methods of thought. The idea is that you're taking care of other things and put a nominal dollar amount, or you take your actuarial valuation and the management sort of framework that goes with it and go tight to it. So again, there are additional costs that aren't even covered in the budget. It is anticipated for the Hampshire Council of Governments Insurance Trust, we're going to start getting our information as far as potential increases. Again, there was a modest one for the Medicare. The larger open enrollment, which comes up, I can't offer anything, but the discussions are being had. How we set up for that, as of December 1st, Prudent RX had come out. We also have switched from Blue Cross to CVS Caremark, and there is another consultant behind the scenes to make sure that we're optimizing the rebates for prescription drugs. If you wanted to invest in one thing, prescription drug costs just seem to go up exponentially. The whole idea is to identify users of target medications and negotiate those down, because obviously they have the utilization and the history. They hired Millman, the actuaries out of Hartford, to go through and do that study just to sort of see where they should be looking for costs. So as much as we have a 7% increase projected in the Abrahams Group forecast, note that there's probably a very modest increase based on utilization, considering they're looking at the larger cost drivers. Losing my audience here. I can get deep into a lot of the numbers. At one point,
Your audience is the greater.
Absolutely, much appreciated. At one point, we're going to have our discussion about the DE1 for 2024 and how it has sort of gone down a little bit. I know I pound my shoe against the pulpit. The whole idea is we should be managing that debt excluded component. Alternately, that override component, the idea that we can buy things at previous year prices because we're not allowing any of that debt to amortize. We're replacing it with newer or similar dollars. Questions from the board?
Your recommendations into that are always welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Board member comments. Mr. Landry.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank everybody for their hard work when they contributed to all that information to the Abraham's report. That helped put some numbers and issues in perspective. Obviously, more discussion is required, and I look forward to that. I'd also like to thank the police officers, police department with the Alice training. That's very important and crucial. And thank everyone for helping out with the tree lighting, and Michelle for all of her hard work. Great time was had by all to see Santa and Frosty, and I look forward to getting business taken care of. Thank you.
Nevich.
Yeah, it looks like the Grinch stayed home this year and was replaced by Frosty. I want to touch a little bit on the Abrams piece here. I hope everyone has an open mind, whether you don't like paying taxes or if you think things need to get bought and everything needs to get caught up. I think everyone needs to have an open mind, and I also think this needs to be, I need more information before I can speak on it. I hope that more information comes shortly. Thank you.
Mr. Marcy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank everybody involved in putting together the joint meeting today. It was a lot of information to digest, but the numbers are pretty stark. There's some big numbers in there, and you can see that we have a big problem to solve. We have a strong team, and I'm hoping that everybody can work together to figure out what to do and make sure that we communicate effectively to the residents who are going to potentially ask for that. So I would, again, reiterate, communicate. Also, thank you to Jeff and his team for jumping on a storm, which kind of surprised everybody, I think, a little more than I thought we were going to get. Guess I should have been paying more attention to the weather, I guess. And a lot of the feedback I've gotten on the tree lighting and the Santa stuff was great, so thank you, everybody, on that. Mr. Chairman.
I agree with everything that was said, and the volunteers that put on the tree lighting, whether it was driving the truck, riding the truck, or setting up for the event, and making sure Santa had a nice clean line coming in and out. So especially Michelle and her team of elves that did such a great job. And none of the cocoa spilled in my car. That's always good too. Long time Dudley Little League president Al Salonis lost his dad the other day. Grandfather of Albie, who was our student rep for a year. They're in our thoughts. With that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.